So when it comes to shooting, most players don't realize that the most important thing is technique. And even if they do realize, they don't get it right. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys 5 common mistakes that I've also seen advanced players make when they're striking a football. And then I'm going to be telling you guys the correct way of doing it. And at the end of the video, I'm going to be teaching you guys specific exercises that you can use for each mistake to correct it. And then you'll see huge differences in your shooting in the game. So let's jump into the video when you're ready. So the first common mistake I've seen a lot of players do is improper foot placement. Now, a lot of players, they either put their planting foot too much in front of the ball or too much behind the ball, or even if they put it beside the ball, it's too far from the ball, which in result, they're off balance when they're striking it. It is crucially important that your foot placement is correct. And even advanced players, when I see a lot of mistakes that they make when they're using the curving technique to strike the ball, when they're putting their planting foot beside the ball, it's too much pointed towards the inside of the goal. So for example, if they're going towards the far post to curve the ball, their planting foot is pointing towards the inside of the goal. In result, when they curve the ball curves towards the goalkeeper. Remember, the goal is to make sure your foot placement is correct based on the technique that you're using. So the next common mistake that I want to talk about that I've seen a lot of players make is not locking the ankle correctly. When you're striking the ball, it is crucially important that your ankle is locked. So if your ankle is sore, then the strike will not be a firm strike and will not be a powerful strike. Depending on the technique that you're using, the ankle should be in a correct position. So if I want to curve that ball, then my ankle should be slightly angled, but it still should be locked as I strike that ball here. If I'm using a power shot technique, my toes should be pointing downwards, my heel should be pointing towards me, my toes should be pointing down and away from me. So as I strike the ball, that strike is a powerful strike. Another common mistake I've seen a lot of players make when they're trying to lock their ankle here, they point their heels away from them. In result, it will not be a correct technique when they're striking it. Their foot will be on the ground and they're probably going to trip as they're striking the ball. You always want to make sure to lock your ankle correctly depending on the technique. Another common mistake that I've seen a lot of players make when they're striking a football is that they're leaning back too much. You want to be making sure that as you're striking that ball, you're leaning slightly above the ball to keep your shot on target. If I'm leaning back as I strike that ball, the ball will probably go above the post. I want to be making sure that as I strike, as I tap the ball, as I strike, my chest is slightly above the ball, my knee is bent so that I keep my shot on target. So guys, the next common mistake I've seen a lot of players do is poor follow through. So as they strike in the ball, I've seen a lot of beginner players especially make this mistake that as they're striking the ball, their foot stops here. You want to be making sure that as you're striking the ball, you're following through towards your target. Now, even the advanced players, a lot of times as they're striking the ball, I see that their follow through is too short and it's right here. Whereas if you want to strike the ball correctly, you want to be making sure that, for example, if I'm curving the ball to the far post, I want to be having the exact motion that I want on the ball with my foot. What I mean by that is that if I want the ball to curve and dip down, I want to be making sure that as I follow through forward, and then my foot comes across and it lands down. And you see the exact motion with the ball, that it curves and then it dips down to the far post. It is crucially important. If you want to get the power and the correct accuracy, you want to be making sure to have a correct follow through on the ball. So the next and the last common mistake I've seen a lot of players, even the advanced ones, make is the inconsistent contact on the ball. So they either they make contact with the incorrect part of the ball, or they take their eyes off the ball too early, which in result is going to end up in not getting the technique that they want on the ball. You want to make sure to do two things. Number one, strike the correct part of the ball. So if I'm going for the top corners, I'm aiming for the middle, lower half of the ball here. Not too low, because then it's going to go over the bar. If I'm going for the bottom corners, I'm aiming for the middle towards the top of the ball. Not too much again, because I'm going to get my foot stuck. And if I'm curving the ball, I want to be making sure to strike the inside of the ball. But as I strike it, I want to keep my eyes on top of the ball, because a lot of players, when they strike the ball, they take their eyes off the ball too early. And in result, even if they try to curve it, they don't get the spin they want, because they took their eyes off the ball. So as you're striking the ball, keep your eyes on the ball and make sure that you're doing the technique correctly, wrapping your foot around the ball here, and then you're going to see huge differences in your shooting. So guys, now we're going to do exercises that helps us to improve our shooting technique for each mistake. The first exercise, what you want to do is to place a cone and just take one step and place your ball. And what you want to do, you just want to practice stationary shooting, focusing on your proper planting foot placement. You want to make sure as you're striking the ball, your foot is placed right in between the cone and the ball, and then you just want to strike the ball with the technique that you're practicing. This really helps you to improve your proper placement of the planting foot. So the next exercise is to help us to lock our ankle correctly as we're striking the ball. Now, I recommend this exercise for players of all levels to do it consistently, because it's going to improve your shooting hugely. So you want to be making sure to place the ball close to the goal or close to a wall. And all you want to be making sure to do is to start right beside the ball. Remember, this is the starting position. There's no run up for this exercise. Planting foot plants right beside the ball, pointing towards the target, and I'm just going to practice locking my ankle. All I'm going to do, my leg goes back, and then I just strike the ball. If I'm practicing the curving technique, my foot is going to be in this position, angled, my ankle's locked, and all I'm going to do, just going to strike the ball with a curving technique, and to practice to lock my ankle correctly. Now, this exercise helps us to be able to practice leaning on top of the ball as we're striking it. All you want to do for this exercise is to place a cone right beside the post and to pick a target on the ground for yourself. So all you want to do, just place a cone 2 steps away from the post, and to practice shooting at the bottom corner of the net. As you're striking the ball, focus on chest leaning slightly forward as you're striking to make sure that you keep your shot on the ground. Now, the next exercise focuses on improving our follow through towards our target. What you want to do is to place 4 cones, again, close to the post, 1 step apart. Except this time, instead of aiming in between the cones, we're aiming to hit the cones as we're striking the ball. And after each strike, we're just aiming to follow through towards our target. So again, we're aiming for each cone, and this makes it a little harder in terms of accuracy, and it requires a lot more accuracy from us and a lot more correct follow through. And this exercise can help you to achieve that.